Hi guys, it's actually 9 here now. I feel very tired tonight, and I've got quite a headache coming on, which is an indication that I am probably thinking too much about where all this is going to go and the rest of it. But I did say earlier that I would speak to you this evening, um, so I like to keep to my promises and say and do what I say I'm going to do. You know. Um, so what I want to talk to you about tonight is the spiritual awakening, and your expectations around your spiritual awakening. It's not going to be this amazing, wonderful step into a vibration of amazingness. Yes, you reach an enlightened state, where the dark and the light and the whole of you merge. And you totally are in the here and now and working with everything that you've got, in the here and now, because you may not have it tomorrow. Um, so yes, enlightenment is very different to the spiritual awakening. The awakening is about a path full of shifts, and it can be really, really small, tiny shifts that you may not even pay attention to, or even noticed along your path so far. And that could be down to a simple sort of thought about, oh, that's what that's about. Oh, that's interesting. And taking a step into something that you haven't really sort of thought about before. The world is so vast, with cultural diversity. And diversity itself is amazing, So when you're stuck and rooted into one way of being, it's a very narrow, shallow path in life, But when you open your mind and sort of look at other aspects, you don't have to accept those aspects for yourself and take it on board for yourself. But what you do sort of need to do is accept that there is difference in the world, Everybody's different, and every single human being is unique and individual, Everyone is amazing in their own right. So I think the spiritual awakening, it's not the enlightenment itself, and it's not going to be like fireworks and one massive party of everything's going to come your way when you reach that space, because that's not what actually happens. It's a small shift that occurs throughout your lifetime. And if I reflect on my own sort of spiritual shifts, there's been quite a lot over the duration of my time living, really. And I've learned so much from so many different people. So I think the expectation, just be wary that it's not going to be an easy ride. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And some of the things may tip you back and you think, oh, what am I even doing this for, It's very enlightening because you try, well, for me, I try different things, different aspects of spirituality, and sort of looked at different sort of religions. I never really grounded myself in any sort of religion that is formed from people's perception of what God is. And people will say to me, well, Vicky, what do you actually believe in? And they can't grasp the fact that the only true thing I believe in, excuse me, is the power of a belief. I have my own ideas of what fits for me, but that's really irrelevant when somebody asks me that question. What do you believe in, Vicky? I truly only believe it firmly in my core, and that's the power of a belief. So what you firmly believe in will become for you. So whatever you ground yourself in, whether that is working on the physical side of your body, whether that's working on your spiritual side of things, your cognitive processes, whatever aspect you sort of ground yourself in and you believe works for you, will work for you. I've sort of read books, vast sort of reading over the years, and I've sort of gone and sort of listened to sort of spiritual teachers and all different things really, and sort of who have put themselves out there. And one of the people that sadly he's died now is Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer is someone that I could really connect with, how he would actually put a positive on every single thing, and he used to connect with me, because I would try my hardest to do that. You know, I really would try my hardest to put the positive on every negative situation. And I suppose I could use my recent experiences of negative life experiences of the palliative care, looking after my two dying loved ones. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, I could never have coped with that. I don't know how you've done that. You know, you were absolutely amazing. And I would have just been in a ditch by now. I don't know how you're doing this, and all the rest of it. And yes, I could have gone into a wallowing bubble of self-pity, and because it was really, really tough, you know. And there was times that I thought, I can't do this anymore. How on earth am I going to do this? You know, sort of help me, you know. God, if it is a God, help me. You know, angels, if you're there, if there are such things as angels, help me. You know, I really needed something, you know, at some of the darker points of the whole experience. But I look at it very, very differently. The way that I see the whole experience is that I was privileged. I was extremely privileged to have two lovely people that shared my life, or I shared my life with, because they were both older than me, trust me enough, you know, believe in me enough, love me enough to allow me to sort of help them in their final stages of life, you know, and help them to die. So I was absolutely privileged to have been given that opportunity, and I see it as a gift in itself, that I was capable, because they believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, you know. Sometimes, like I said, I said, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, you know, and I looked for someone to blame, and, you know, have I created this in my life? Of, you know, what have I done to deserve this? And, you know, sort of questioned all different aspects of life itself, which is all perfectly normal. You know, it is fine, it is absolutely okay and all right to sort of feel these things. But it's when you get stuck, it's when you get so caught up in this sort of negative way of thinking about things, that's when, you know, you just find it hard to shift from any vibration. So for me, like I said, I was extremely privileged with regards to that, and I did sort of find the positives in that very, very negative situation that I was experiencing. And, you know, like I said, Wayne Dyer, and it's quite crazy actually, because quite a few public figures have died of cancer in this last sort of 4 or 5 months, you know. And somebody said, I can't even remember who actually said it to me, but they said something about all the public figures that have died, and it was like, you know, it's really, really sad. And I was thinking, well, yeah, of course it's sad, but people die of cancer every day, you know, and that's sad too, you know. So why were the public figures getting more compassion and empathy and love, you know, even though, you know, some of them were amazing, you know, figures that had sort of passed and left the sort of world, earth plane or planet, or, you know, whatever. It's, again, that's down to your own belief system. But for me, you know, it happens every day. Everybody suffers from negative experiences. That's part of living. If you don't experience any sort of negative situations, you're never ever going to know about the positive situations. And again, it's all the opposite stuff. It's the black, it's the white, it's the, you know, the light, it's the dark. If you don't know the positive, you won't understand the negative. So you have to experience both to just be human and live life, you know. So my concerns are for everybody that is sort of taking steps towards this spiritual enlightenment. I just want to clarify that waking up spiritually is a slow, progressive thing. It doesn't happen overnight, and even though I sort of put out there publicly, you know, this spiritual awakening and, you know, the massive shift that's happening in humanity, and I think it's amazing, don't get me wrong, I love it. I absolutely love the fact that people are sort of, you know, being shaken up a little bit. So to think differently about life itself. So that is really good. I'm just checking the time. Oh, I'm okay for a second. But just start to be aware, I think, of the whole spiritual shifts that are happening within you, because that is all part of waking up, you know. It's not an amazing, you know, party of fireworks and hallelujah, I've reached this wonderful place, and it is amazing being in that enlightened state, I gotta be honest, it is. But it's a progression, you know, and even as enlightened as I am at the minute, I've still got an awful long way to go, you know. And I get that, I totally understand that, you know, where I am now is just a step towards the next level, you know, that I'm going to progress to. So don't have too many expectations on what this whole spiritual awakening is about, because see it maybe as a spiritual shift, you know. You shift a little bit, and then you shift a little bit more, and then you will shift a little bit more, and every step of the way is vitally important. So I think that is really what I want to say to you tonight, is just be conscious of your own expectations, because, you know, the whole spirituality, whether you sort of come, whatever aspect you come at it from, you know, or whatever religion, whatever faith, whatever academic, sort of scientific, whatever sort of aspect and area you are coming from with regards to the spiritual shift that is going to bring about an awakening, and then you find enlightenment, you know, just don't have any expectations and don't put too much pressure on yourself, because even the smallest shift is still a shift, you know. And even if that is starting to sort of really be conscious of the interactions you have with people and what they mirror back to you, is really, really good, you know. But just don't get too wrapped up either in every sort of single interaction is, you know, me, you know, that's about me. It's not always about you, you know. And like I said, use your emotions as a tool, you know. So if if you react emotionally to something, then there is something you need to look at. If you're just in the sort of happy place, or in just a level place in a situation or an interaction, then there is nothing to learn from that, you know. So don't place too many expectations on yourself in this process that you will be undertaking when you first take a step towards these spiritual shifts, and become conscious of the spiritual shifts that are happening within you, because you have to shift before you can wake up, and it's when you wake up that's when you become enlightened. So it's not going to be a wonderful firework party, and I think that's what I needed to say more than anything. And maybe that's what's been playing on my mind to say, actually, because this is gone. My headache seems to have settled a little bit. But I am going to have an early night tonight, because I've got quite a busy day tomorrow. So I'm going to say, you're definitely good enough. Every single one of us is good enough. And sweet dreams, and I will probably only do one video tomorrow, but sweet dreams. Okay, night.